Hello, and welcome to our first episode of Spill the Coffee, which is my new podcast, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm also very excited to welcome, clearly, my three guests that I have here. Um, but before that, I will introduce myself. I'm D or Donut, whichever you prefer. And I'm a small content creator on Twitch and TikTok. I post a variety of content, but I mostly post things related to streaming. And I love to help other small creators improve their stream in various ways. And now we have this podcast to continue doing that with. Um, Now I'm going to have my friends here introduce themselves, but I want them and everyone else to know that part of our introductions here on this Spill the Coffee podcast obviously have to relate to drinks because coffee. So I want all of you to let us know what you're drinking as well when you give your introduction. And I will go first. And I have hot chocolate in my Halloween mug that says Hello Queen because that's me.
Ah,
And I love hot chocolate, especially in the wintertime. So
Yes.
I will I will pass the mic over to Tuna to introduce himself.
thank you, D. Thank you, D. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. My name is Tunari. People call me Tuna. I am 28, and I am mainly a Twitch streamer, former YouTube content creator. Um, yeah, I'm originally from Mexico. I've been living in the States for quite a while now. Um, and yeah, I've been streaming, I think, for like almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. So I'm enjoying it so far. And my drink of choice is this iced tea. Um, it's really good. It's a half tea and half lemonade drink.
Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, boy. Non-alcoholic to be specific.
Boring.
Yeah.
I
It's
may
a
or may not
Monday.
have alcohol in my
It's a
drink.
Monday.
I'm not gonna lie.
Listen.
Your drink got nothing in it.
Mine's is simple. Simple as it is. Um, yeah. I guess who's so I'll
Gio.
just go to Geo right over here. Hey Geo.
What it do, baby? I'm Gio Casalem. You can call me Gio. I'm a streamer wannabe. Emphasize of wannabe. I'm 23, original from Peru. I guess you can realize the accent I have. I mainly play shooter games, so Call of Duty, GTA, Valorant, even the sucks, but you know. Uh, yeah, I kind of haven't been streaming that much because, work is kind of important right now when you're an adult. But I'm kind of hoping to see how this podcast goes from the future from now. How this podcast goes from now on, and to make more content with my friends. And my drink of choice actually is Horizon Organic Chocolate Milk. Not sponsored, by the way.
Not
So
sponsored.
not
Horizon.
Not
sponsored.
sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No, no.
I have four of these shit, so it's gonna be crazy tonight. You know, right? You're right on the vibes.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Shit gonna be
blasting out
crazy.
chocolate milk.
So I'll just pass the mic to my Asian friend, Justin.
Hello, I'm Justin. I'm Asian. Specifically Filipino. First to start, I am a huge gamer. I've been gaming a lot for my life, so we're gonna be going through that. I'm a small time streamer. Lately, I haven't been, but only because it's work. As Gio said, I've been really busy, so I don't have the time to. I want to get into it more, but I'm like, content wise, I don't know what to do. I'm just, just playing the game, but like, aside from that, I'm doing my best. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Also, if you
Pretty much.
can't tell, Gio here is a faceless streamer. So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
wondering why he's
We
dressed
don't,
like
we don't,
that, that
we
is
don't get any
why.
sweat. We
We
don't
were
get
just
any
gonna like
sweat.
slide right past that like that. I figured I would point it out just in case. I'm sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
It's okay. And my drink of choice, my camera's backwards. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Jay.
My drink of choice is peppermint hot chocolate with some horchata inside of it.
Horchata.
We did,
Horchata.
but it's
Horchata.
alcohol. It's not just normal horchata.
Yes.
Ooh. I'll
It's
be
a spicy
horchata.
We got
bachata.
some
It's
spiked hot
spicy.
chocolate. I'm already almost done with mine.
I'm not.
It's
You're
okay
getting
though.
crazy out here. Hot chocolate, organic chocolate.
Alright.
Alright. I'm
Damn.
That
open.
concludes my intro. Nice and short and simple. I'll elaborate more on everything as
Yes,
we go
we'll
through.
get way more into it.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Oh, we've lost Justin. That's okay.
No, he's here.
No, I just smashed my camera.
It's
Oh.
okay. All right. Well, thank you guys and welcome. So now I'll just go ahead and get right into our topics of conversation, which is literally what brought us all together, which is gaming. So, whoever wants to start, feel free. But I would love to know from each of you what originally got you guys into gaming, if you can remember. So
All right,
whoever wants to go.
here,
Oh,
listen up, guys.
he was ready.
It's like
He was
boom.
born for this question.
Alright, so it all started out. I was 8 years old. I got my first. Well, actually, I didn't get my first Game Boy. My cousin got her first Game Boy, and I like really wanted to play it. So she would be on it, and I was like, as soon as she gets off, I'll snatch it right out of her hands and just start playing. And ever since then, like I've just been buying from like Game Boys to like DS, GameCubes, PlayStations, Xbox, yada yada yada. So, I guess you could say it kind of just happened. I think prior to when she got the Game Boy, I was watching my dad and then my aunt and my cousin, my aunt and my cousin constantly play DDR, which is another genre of games that I really like playing, which is like rhythm games. But I would watch them constantly play DDR every single day right after school because they would have to pick me up from like school since we went to the school was a giant building with me in it and then obviously all different other grades. So they would pick me up, we'd go home, they would play it. I would just sit there and watch because I didn't know how to do anything. Sit there and watch the whole time, and that's pretty much how my gaming addiction started.
By just watching.
Yeah, by just watching, I was really interested and I wanted to just try everything. I also had an N64. It was pretty cool. Played a lot of Mario. But yeah, that's where it all started. I was basically born into this world to play video games my whole life.
He's a natural.
Men's a born natural NPC.
Yeah, no, literally. What quest line do you guys want to do?
He been moving NPC right now, like hovering while you wait to
My
keep
life
picked
feels like
on.
an NPC. It's all yeah, it's all projected. Right.
Well, oh, are you done?
Are you done?
Have you started?
I haven't started. I'm just kidding. The floor is open for anyone that wants to speak on this question.
Okay, I'll go. Every time people ask me when I start gaming, I usually just say during like quarantine time, because that's when like I start wanting to be like content creation, shit like that. But I actually should go back way time when I was back in my home country in Peru. I remember we have these things around my in Peru. It's like a land center, so you can just go pay like
Let's
to a guy and you just can use a computer. So
go.
I will use this excuse that I got to go to homework. So I will do half an hour homework and half an hour gaming. And back then I used to
Man's
play a lot of
priorities.
exactly. So back then I still was into shooter games. So my first game was Counter Strike, but like not that Counter Strike that we know now, like Global Offensive. I'm talking about the one that had numbers on the name. So Counter Strike 1.6, Counter Strike
Cool.
1.7, all the Counter Strike, like all ones. Like not a thing that you now like you can like bunny hop and shit like that. Nah, but actually you just shoot and kill people in a game. In a game.
In the
In, a,
game, by the
in the
way.
game.
Just to
By
clear
the
the
way.
I want to
gaming
make that
related.
clear.
Clarify.
This all
Yeah.
gaming related.
So yeah, I will play that. Also, this game called Half Life. I would play that shit too. GTA Vice City, that shit was crazy too back
Oh
then.
yeah.
Uh, pretty much that games. But then, my priorities got switched. So I started more focus on like music and dancing because I was a musician and a dancer back in my country. But then during quarantine, when everything came back again, I started getting more into Call of Duty mobile because that shit was big at the time. So we played that shit. I even was part of a team and compete like
Oh, you went
in the
professional.
tournament. Yeah, I only made it to regionals, so like I compete with people around my region, like New York. So and then I got into Minecraft by watching by watching Dream actually. Dream.
Dream.
Yeah, so I got into Minecraft and then I wanted to get into content creation mainly because also I used to watch offline TV, the houses in California, where it's Toads, Pokimane, Lily Fish, all that people. So out of that, I went to start content creation. So on my laptop, download the OBS, and the rest history.
The rest
Amen.
is history.
Hell yeah, brother.
Amen.
Exactly. Amen.
Cheers.
Talk about.
Cheers to that, brother.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right. So for me, um, when did I? So I got into gaming. I believe I was like maybe like 4 or 5 years old. So a long time
Small
ago.
child.
My one of my best friends, he had an N64. This is back when I was in Mexico. He had a Nintendo 64,
Wait. Before
and
you guys spill, it's not sorry to interrupt you, but when you are also like Justin mentioned that, the first thing that came in my mind was a gun, like a gun called N64. I don't know why.
It's Nintendo
Like you guys were talking
64
about guns,
Geo.
I was like,
a Nintendo.
yeah, listen, I thought you were talking about
Shit went
guns. I was
my
like,
went to Call
favorite,
of
my
Duty.
favorite
what gun is
console
that?
is a gun. Yeah. Jesus Christ, Gio.
Yeah, you ever
Listen,
just like pulled the trigger?
Oh my
listen,
god.
too much shooting games,
Anyways, moving on.
Uh, so yeah, my he had a Nintendo 64, and I would always watch him play because I was always like, so like, what is this? Like, this is so. It looks like so much fun. And then he would show me how to play some games. So he originally introduced me to. So I think he had some Pokemon games in there, but the first game I ever played was this game called Conker's Bad Fur Day. It was a really like a really like graphic and like it's an M-rated game. That was my first game I ever played.
Oh my
But
god.
Rated.
but it was so much fun.
Straight into
It's
it.
like it's like this from the same company that owns Donkey Kong. So it was like they had a really big production back in the day with Nintendo. And that was the first game I played. But the first console I had it was a Game Boy Color. And it was, and obviously the first games I ever played were I think it was Pokemon. I think it was literally Pokemon Red, and then Gold that I got in the Game Boy Color. And I've been a huge Nintendo fan ever since, for that matter. So I literally played from like first gen Pokemon to like what it is now. Um, and also Zelda, as you can see here, I have a Zelda shirt. Big Zelda fan. Um,
We love
nerd.
Zelda.
yeah, we love Zelda. Zelda stance.
Mhm.
We and then so that was I guess my first console was technically the Game Boy Color, but then I actually had a first console in the GameCube. I got a GameCube, so and that's where I started playing all these other games that like Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I got Super Smash Brothers Melee. I had Mario Kart. So all these like different Nintendo franchises for that matter. Uh, yeah, and that's also where my love for Smash Brothers came in as well around that time frame.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Orale.
Whole bunch of gamers.
Gamers.
For me, I feel like it was a lot different. Like, I don't know, it's just like that typical thing of like I was like a girl. So my parents' first thing that they would buy would not be like a game, you know? Like that was just like wasn't the thing. But I do remember having a Game Boy. I mean, I had quite a few consoles still. Um But my brother was definitely more into it than I was for a long time. I think until the Wii came around, and that's probably when I started like really liking video games a lot more. Cause like I would play on my DS, but like what would I play? Like Nintendogs or
Nintendogs,
like
yeah, I
you
love
know like typical games like that, or like probably like Bratz games, like or Barbie games, you know, stuff like that. That wasn't anything crazy. So like I wasn't really into gaming, and I had a PlayStation. Um,
played
but it was the
Bratz.
same thing. Like I would play like Powerpuff Girls. Or like I played a lot of Spyro. I was a huge Spyro fan when I was a kid. And games like that on the PlayStation, like the original one. And then when I got the PS2, I started playing The Sims. And The Sims was definitely my game for a really long time. Like all through high school, middle school, I would say like I would be like a Sims gamer. Like that's really all I played. And like maybe Minecraft every blue moon because I only had like a Mac. So it was a little bit harder to play like games on the computer, and then it's kind of similar to Geo when like quarantine started. I just was like I bought a Switch and
Yeah.
I decided to like really commit to like I want a game as a hobby, like this is fun for me, and then that's when I started like getting into way more things. But definitely I wasn't
Yeah,
like a little
COVID.
kid, doing playing games a lot. Especially cuz I was like I did dance and stuff. Like I didn't have time to like really commit to gaming, but
You know what game I put so many hours on the DS? Cooking Mama.
Cooking Mama.
Dude, I loved Cooking Mama. It was so fun.
I didn't have it, but it was addictive. I remember, I think it was one of my cousins had it, and then she'd be like, "Oh, can you help me pass this?" When she was stuck, like, "Can you help me like get through this one?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I would play.
I also played Bratz because my sister had it on her DS.
Dude, the
Like, I
Bratz
would be
games are
bored.
fun.
I played every game my sister had, like all the, I guess yeah, like those type of games. I played Spyro. I think my first game that I owned was
Spyro isn't a girly game
No,
though.
no, no, no. I'm diverting the topic, but yeah,
Oh.
you know what I mean. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Spyro's for girls confirmed. Honestly.
I mean, at
Yeah,
least be a fun game. All right. So, obviously, all of us had like different gaming experiences, but we all have played like similar consoles and everything. And we're all pretty much around the same age as well. But since we do kind of all have different experiences, how do you think that gaming in general has changed since you started picking up gaming as a hobby, like more seriously? Like, have you noticed like a huge like shift in gaming, or like what have you kind of noticed in your experience that gaming has changed for you?
I believe gaming has been on a standstill lately. I don't know if that's because I was younger and it's very much like you pick up something and you really like it because you're a kid and you get hooked onto it. But I guess it really depends on what type of genres you play because like the genres I play aren't really doing well right now. I think the genre that's doing the best right now is like story game based. Um, but from back then to now, you can definitely tell how much like gaming has evolved because it goes from a very simple little screen dude to something more elaborate like the one game that I just bought. Do you remember the name of Kenna? The spirit game.
Yeah.
That thing straight up looks like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, the graphics are insane.
It's fully animated. I'm just like it, and it looks good. Like it doesn't even look like a game, but it looks amazing. Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
I
I
was
would
just put my thoughts on it.
yeah, I'm gonna add to that, and like definitely like obviously for gaming, it has evolved in the sense that now, I mean, I feel like if anything, like in the past, for example, like maybe PC, like PC gaming wasn't as big as it is now. I feel like now with all the advanced technology and when it comes to just like better processing units, better it's just better computers overall. Um, like computer gaming has honestly like taking a huge um they just basically lead the path now because before it was mainly consoles. Yeah, there were some games you could play on the computer, but now like I feel like a lot of games people play on consoles. Like even your Call of Duties or like Valorant or like WoW, all those different games now are like people play on PC, and that's like mainly what the trend has been going for. Minecraft, like we like all of us play Minecraft on in the computer for that matter.
Xbox, yeah.
Well, Xbox, yeah, but
I
like the
mean, yes,
It
it started
exists,
Xbox
but
and as
like,
Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
How many
Xbox and as
people do you
main
know
PC.
playing Minecraft on Xbox still?
5-year-olds.
Oh. Like kids,
And
yeah.
Justin. 5-year-olds and Justin.
Yeah, I fall in the 5-year-olds.
Oh my gosh.
But
Well,
yeah, I feel like that's definitely the trend that's been going in for that matter. Obviously that, and I mean VR, like obviously like I mentioned, like a lot of things are looking more
so huge.
realistic. So VR
Yeah.
is like the trend where it's going. Personally, I like doing a little bit of a mix of both. I like playing new and old, particularly old. Nintendo usually goes more into that direction, but like even with, for example, Nintendo, like you can have now they have the Switch, which is like you can play on the go, and it's a console. It's not like an actual like DS or like
Yeah.
like
PSP.
a PSP or
PlayStation
stuff
Pro.
like that.
Pro
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
PSP.
So it's like literally a console that can compete with like your Xboxes or your PlayStations, but you can actually take it on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like it's more portable, but also more. They're definitely trying to spread the competition around, which I feel like it's good. It makes companies like try to come up with better content in a sense, but
Yeah.
you know that's just me.
Well, I got like a whole different perspective because y'all three grew up like playing games up in this area of the North America, USA type shit. But back in my home country where I started playing, things were different. Like the things how changed. Like my experience from playing in a like in a third world country to playing here are different from back in days. Yeah, we only like mainly play on like on the LAN centers I mentioned, the LAN centers. So it was mainly PC games. If you had um a console like a PlayStation or an Xbox, if mainly people like have money will like buy. But now it's normal everyone has that. So now gaming wise, you feel like everything going for like not playing. Back there it was back there gaming when I was in my country it was looked down, but now everyone wants to be a gamer, everyone wants to be content creation. So like, and that's what I noticed here in this country. I feel like in Peru is still or mainly most Latin countries are still looked down because we're like, oh yeah, how you wanna be a gamer? It's like you don't make a living out of that. And like games evolution every day, every year. We went from like playing Tetris on a black and white screen to now playing Tetris in VR. Like things like really changed.
It's
Yeah.
very
Like
true.
now
Yeah.
for like yeah for example now on the console versus PC war also changed them. Like, oh, my PlayStation 5 has 4K resolution. Yeah, but not all televisions have 4K resolution. So you don't actually experience. And then like, oh yeah, but you need a 3090 to play this game. I can play it on a 1690. Shit's still playable. But I feel like gaming really switched like progressively in. I feel like everyone has their own like perspective how gaming switched. Also, now I feel like now
Yeah,
game
I
games
can
are.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel
Yeah.
like now games are mostly focused on money too. Like
Yeah.
for now, guys, you gotta buy a battle pass, skins.
That's
Like
just
the
how all companies are. They're all just
yeah. But I feel like
Yeah.
now it's more because like before back then I remember needing to buy a battle pass to play Counter Strike. Now it's the all the open boxes, battle passes, or like the classic pay to win
Yeah.
stuff that you need to use. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my point.
I would say, like, for me, what I've noticed is like such a huge shift from solo player to multiplayer. For me, like, I never played games growing up that required multiplayer or that like even had that option really. I mean like to an extent, like I would play like Lego Batman and of course you can play with two players, but like you know what I mean? Not like the games are
Yeah.
now where so many games focus on a multiplayer aspect and I feel like that's so new to me. Whereas like that's like literally like 2 years new to me. Like just even when like I would play Minecraft, like maybe my brother and I would play together once. Mostly I just played on my own. I didn't even know there was like a multiplayer aspect to it, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, my gaming like experience, I just like always just played on my own. Like that's just how I thought it was. It was just like a lonely hobby, and it's so not a lonely hobby at all. And I've definitely seen that shift for me. Like I know obviously that these have always kind of existed, but I feel like now so many games like rely on multiplayer aspects of them, which is really cool, and like online aspects of games. Like that's just another new thing for me is like online games, like playing with people you don't know. That was like not really something that I experienced ever until like the past couple of years. So I feel like that's really cool because you meet so many people like how we all, you
The
know, met is just like from gaming online, like meeting people you play, you like we've all met in person now, but like at the time like we hadn't. We just played games, which is so cool because that's so new to me.
Yeah. So I feel like if anything, just to add to that, like, um, with like like especially with during the quarantine, right? It was like Among Us and Minecraft. I feel like they were the more popular
yeah,
games that we would play online for that matter for the whole like multiplayer aspect. That's basically what you saw
yeah.
in
And then
prime
Valorant
quarantine.
came. Valorant came on that talk too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like 2020. That
Honestly,
was
I think
yeah.
Yeah.
adding on to what Dee said with like her not playing like multiplayer. I think during COVID time, multiplayer kind of played a big role because of all the, social distancing and like lockdowns. Because it's like, what are you gonna do, really? So
Yeah.
that's when people. I feel like that's when multiplayer became like
A hit.
known. I mean,
Mm.
it's been known, but it's just like a
But
lot.
like a hit,
I've
like
noticed.
more common.
Yeah, I noticed a lot more people that I like look at them and don't think they play games, but like I didn't know Dee played games at first, and she doesn't. I don't see her playing it. When I first met her, I didn't see her like playing games at first, and I feel like during COVID time, that whole multiplayer aspect of it kind of introduced it to those people that are just starting. Like a lot of people's first games is Valorant, which is
Like for the huh?
yeah. I was like, it's pretty cool how you go from back in the day where it's all solo games, solo story games where it's very linear. There's only one way to go to something more elaborate like
Or
playing games with
competitive,
other people. Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so
Oh yeah.
now before we move on to our like content creation specific questions, since obviously we're all content creators, I just want to know everyone's like all time favorite game slash if you don't have an all time favorite game, your like all time favorite franchise of games. This is going to be, I feel like, very easy for each of you, and I probably already know that.
League of Legends.
Okay.
Boy, at what point did you play League of Legends? Because I don't want to hear it. I did play League of Legends though, and it's been 14 years.
Yeah, I want to talk about your 2K
Yeah,
spendings.
yeah. How I spent $2,000 on League skins. Yeah. Or $2,000 on Path of Exile skins. Yeah.
Would that say
Or
that? Would you say that's yours, Justin? League?
uh,
Would you say League is definitely your favorite franchise for a game?
All
no,
time.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm about to say if you couldn't guess that.
No, like I may not look like someone. Well, I mean, maybe I look like someone that likes Pokemon. I don't know. But like
I
recently, I
mean,
started collecting my cards again. But I've always had this huge passion for Pokemon. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because like my dad didn't even like it. I just picked it up myself. Ever since I was younger, I started collecting Pokemon cards and like watching the anime. My dad would watch the anime, but he never like got into the games or anything. But I did, and he
yeah,
kept buying me the game.
Charizard. Rar.
That's not true,
Roar.
bro. That's chocolate. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Get your Pokemon right.
listen, I only know
Get your Pokemon
Pokemon's.
right.
I know for Pokemon you gotta hit balls to someone. That's kind
Whose
of
balls
sus.
you? Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay. That's alright. So yeah, I mean, Pokemon would be my all-time like favorite game or like company. But I have a huge. No, I wouldn't say a huge list, but I have a list of like games that I've consistently played over the years, which is, I mean, it's like Pokemon, World of Warcraft, Path of Exile, League of Legends, and I think those are like the main four. Oh, and Kingdom Hearts. I played a lot of Call of Duty, but there was only a 1 year where I like consistently played it, so I wouldn't really call it as my all-time favorite. But yeah,
Fair.
So you're just a nerd.
just
Fucking
the
nerd.
gamer, not a nerd,
Bro,
just the gamer. You know,
Video
hurts my
gamer.
Yeah.
heart when you go. No, I'm just kidding.
uh, I am kind of. I don't know. So I don't have like an all-time favorite game or franchise. I guess it's like a genre more so. So like shooting games.
Yeah, like
So like yeah, like call like of course I'm gonna say Counter Strike, which was like my first all-time favorite game, and Call of Duty. So like ever since Call of Duty Modern Warfare in 2019, I've been like buying most all of them. So I feel like mainly shooting games are like my main point of attraction or like all-time favorite type of games I would like to play. I'll keep playing, because who doesn't like shooting guns in like video game?
In a video game.
In a video game.
Exactly, in a video game, guys. Please.
real life too. I like shooting guns.
Yeah, exactly, but in a video game, that's
Whoa,
how you
whoa,
train.
whoa, whoa.
Shooting range, okay.
Exactly. There's one right down the street from my house.
Paintball.
Actually, I want to go paintball. Haven't
I
done
know,
that.
right? We should go. Anyways, besides the point.
Uh,
Paintballing is fun.
What about you, Tuna? I guess it's
so,
Pokemon too.
so to an extent, that was
Zelda.
like, yes, I was gonna say basically between the both of them. It's basically between Pokemon and Zelda. Honorable mention for like the Mario Kart franchise and Smash Brothers. I feel like I've been a huge Smash fan since the original Nintendo 64 game, and when I first got my copy of the one for the GameCube. But definitely Zelda has stayed with me for like the longest time. Same as Pokemon. It was like Pokemon was my first bought game that I played, and then Zelda was my one of my first console games because I think I got the Wind Waker for the GameCube, and that was like my first console video game that I played, story wise, I guess for that matter. And yeah, I guess I would say between those two. Um, the honorable mention for like Mario Kart, honorable mention for Smash Brothers, and also kind of Rocket League. That's one is a fairly recent. I don't play it as often, but it's one of those games that I'm like, I feel like I'm decent at to the point that I can enjoy it. Obviously, there's times that I will have frustrations and want to throw my controller, but
Mhm.
other than that, I would say that's another game, non Nintendo related, that I'll be like, yeah, I enjoy playing that game too.
Car soccer.
Car soccer,
The vroom vroom ball.
vroom vroom ball.
Oh my gosh.
Which is
I think my favorite, everyone already knows that my all-time favorite game is Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild.
Hello
I love
Hello
Breath of the
Kitty.
Wild. No, Hello Kitty. Breath of the Wild is my all-time favorite game. It has been ever since I played it for the very first time in like what, 2019. I love that game. Even though I haven't 100% completed it ever, it is
Big
just
fan.
it's just a wonderful. It's too hard, okay? I'm not that much of a gamer. I'm not like good at it. I just enjoy it. And parts of Breath of the Wild are very difficult. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite game. I don't know if I have like a favorite franchise. I mean, there are other like Zelda games that I enjoy, and I really, really love the lore of Zelda. So like that's another thing that like I guess draws me to that because I love fantasy things. But other than that, I don't really have like a favorite franchise or like a favorite game that like I kept up with over the years. Other than The Sims, but like
Mhm.
I wouldn't consider it like a franchise that I love because I absolutely despise EA. and I refuse to give them more money because Sims, if you want to talk about a money pit game, like if you think expansion packs and like skins and all this stuff is expensive, like The Sims is like the most expensive game to like be obsessed with because every expansion pack is like $30. It's
Damn.
ridiculous. And then like
It's like a
game
whole.
packs
It's
are
like a
like
whole new game.
$10. Yeah, you have to buy like it's that's a
I
whole
would,
nother thing. But I
I
did
have
play a lot of
to
Sims
buy.
games growing up, so I mean, I guess I dedicated myself to it because I've given them too much money.
I
But
have
that's
a
beside the
question.
point.
You got a
What?
I have
question
a
for my
question.
answer.
Just a random question out there. What is the most expensive game that you think you play?
Valorant.
I don't know. I don't really play expensive games anymore.
I'll say Valorant just because that's the most I spend money to on. That's it.
I'm gonna say World of Warcraft. There's a 15 a month subscription that I pay just to play this damn game. But on top of that, I have to buy all the new expansions if I want to keep playing it, which are $60 each.
God damn.
Yeah.
Wait, but you
I,
talking about most expensive that you've played or that is out there?
no, that I've played.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean,
So
I've spent
yeah,
money on like skins
League
and
of
stuff,
Legends
but
like
that's not
2K.
You're not
like
paying a subscription.
you don't
Oh, okay.
need to buy those skins. You know what I mean? Like to play this game, you need to like subscribe and have game time.
Mm,
That's what I mean by like my most expensive game. It's basically just all those MMO types, you know?
I feel
never
like
life.
I feel like for me it would probably be Rocket League. This was back when they had like a like when loot boxes were like more common. I guess now because of the recent changes to like certain laws about like
Mhm.
gambling and or like like loot boxes in video games, it's kind of changed. But back then, I remember there was like a it was pretty common like to spend a lot of money in loot boxes to see like, oh, let me get this new like skin for the car, let me get this thing or whatever. And I remember I would say probably Rocket League from back then because I think now they changed it. You literally have to spend actual like, oh, you want this thing? Oh, yeah, I have to pay for it. Kind of how like Overwatch is to an extent. Like Overwatch 2, they don't have loot boxes anymore. They have like you have to pay for whatever item you have or whatever skin you want. As to where before you can get it randomly with the box thing.
I guess I could say the same thing for Pokemon though, because it's like if you want to play the newer games, then you have to get the newer game, which is
Mm-hmm.
usually like $60. So in a way, Pokemon can also be like a big expensive game to keep up with, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if no one else has anything else to say, I was
I
just
don't think
curious.
so.
Yeah. I feel like it's
Okay,
Rocket
so
League.
like these would be like Sims with
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean, like
expansions
if
and
it's
all
something
that
that I've
good stuff.
spent a lot of money on, then yeah, The Sims, probably like The Sims 3 because I had like every expansion pack and like now like once I like got older and like started playing the older games, I realized I was like
It is expensive.
sneaky, but also like it was so much easier to like get them not legally back then. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
Mm.
beside the point. Anyway, um
Anyways,
anyways, let's talk about
beautiful.
content creation. Um so obviously all of us are content creators in some capacity. Um and none of us do it full time, obviously.
Right.
So but obviously yeah, I feel like I can easily say that it's something that each of us would like to do full time if we had the opportunity to. So I think that the passion's there. It's just that we don't have the opportunity to be basically doing it full time. Um so yeah, so I would just love to know what got you all into content creation, how you got started and like why, like what inspired you to start.
Do you want to go first, Jebin?
Either or, if you said first, so
Uh,
Fuck you
whoever's
all
last.
first. I'll go first.
All right,
So
Gio,
I'm
you
gonna
go
lie.
first.
My first try to be a content creator was because of I needed money. I just want money. I just wanted money all the time. So I
Honestly,
remember,
that's what we're here for.
yeah, like
Like, let's
I
be real.
remember, like I remember, I would like record stuff. I would like screen record my gameplays of Call of Duty Mobile, and then go to iMovie, edit some stuff, and post to YouTube. hoping that I blow up and get money. That was like my main reason, just to get money, because I needed money. I didn't have a job, shit like that. So that's pretty much my like the first motive for me to get into content creation, money. But then when I just tried to do it because I want to like have fun, all the shit, was because I was watching a lot of offline TV. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be in a content creation house, do this shit, blah blah. And also watching the Dream SMP because I was like, oh, I want to be in SMP like that, and that's how I actually joined D, because she propaganda like her TikToks for the SMP, the everything. Pretty much everyone joined because of that. So like, oh yeah, that's my opportunity to make money. So yeah, pretty much money.
Fair. I mean, I'm sure we're
Yeah.
all in this for money too.
To an extent,
I have a story to tell, but if Tuna, if you would like to speak on this,
sure.
then you could first.
Uh, so I feel like funny thing. I used to not stream. I used to actually just upload like Geo. I upload videos to YouTube. Um, and I actually had two channels. One in which I was focused mainly on maybe like vlog slash like skit, kind of like how we would you consider like a like Ryan Higa kind of content, like how he did
Oh
his
yeah.
content back then, or like Kevin Jumba. That's another one that I would like. I would love watching those two. And I guess Smosh, from back then. And then I was really into YouTube from the like when it like technically first started because like those three were like kind of like there in the beginning. Uh, and from there, like I slowly switched to more like, oh yeah, I want to play video games and I want to like upload this content to YouTube, and which like same thing with Geo, like offline TV, or like just like mainly watching a bunch of like gamers that do like walkthroughs of certain games. I kind of like wanted to do kind of similar thing like them, so I started uploading like gaming content in my channel. Like I think it was like maybe like 2016, maybe 2017, probably more, probably longer. I've done it for a while first, the uploading it to YouTube directly. And it was like just Minecraft or like Rocket League, um, and I guess some Pokemon too. I probably did put, yeah, some Pokemon playthroughs. And slowly, I took a break from from content creation, but it was after that I was mainly focusing on streaming, just because it was easier to do, not as much time when it comes to like editing stuff or like just like you know adding this, adding that. It was just pretty much boom, record something, and then sorry, you just like pretty much just sit and play games live. That's why I kind of switched over to it. And it's basically because of the fact I don't have time. Like I think we're all pretty like the reason we all of us pretty much do streaming is because of the fact that it's really easy to just like put some time in the day to kind of like try to put to essentially stream for like a couple hours and not have to worry about editing as much. Um, but yeah, I would say 5 years ago it was probably one of my first content was honestly Minecraft. Now that I think of it, that I posted on my video on my YouTube channel.
Wait, right. I want to just add something to what I said before. Right when Tuna mentioned blogging, I
Mm-hmm.
remember this is actually go way back to 2014. Um, I back then it used to be these bloggers in my Peru. Blogging was really popular. People just stay on the camera and start like talking about shit going on in life or like make little skits. So back then I was trying to be like that too, and I started making like my own videos too. I record myself, I start editing and shit like that and posting on my YouTube. But that was like back in 2014. I totally forgot about that until Tuna mentioned blogging, so like I remember I didn't want to add that. So yeah, content creation was way back for me then I guess. When I used to just do weird shit. But yeah. Not you, Justin. The light us with your story.
So, content creation. Let's see. Where do I start? Because it does date back a little bit. Maybe not that far, but maybe around when I was in freshman year or something. Maybe middle school. My first YouTube video was a guide on how to make a Terraria server.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah,
That
because
is
I
the
didn't
most
know.
you thing I've ever heard.
I didn't. Yeah, it is. I didn't know like what to do, and I wasn't comfortable just speaking to myself and recording videos. And I at the time like I didn't know what streaming was. It wasn't really that popular back then. So I locked myself in my room and like made sure everyone was like asleep or downstairs or something, and I started just talking to myself and like recording a video on how to make a Terraria server. And then like later down the line, I got pretty hyped up because it got like 30 views. So
Yeah, the first two DJ views he hit it
so
different.
I ended up like making Terraria. I said, you know what, let's do this. So I started making a Terraria playthrough. I only made it 2 episodes far, but back like now that I look at it and like listen to the videos that I made, it wasn't really the greatest. It's how I am now when I'm streaming. When I started streaming though, it was during, well, it was before COVID, but I started streaming because I was talking to my friends and I said, you know what, might as well just stream because like I might as well stream if I'm just gonna always be playing games. So I started streaming like that, and every now and then when I play with my friends, I would like hey guys, I'm streaming, like, keep your family friendly because my group is kind of like out of pocket sometimes. So that's when it all
What?
started, and then I like broke off from them because I didn't see any growth. So I started putting myself out there more. I joined this guy's. I just randomly popped into a stream because I was like on Twitch. I was like, I need to find people to work with. So I went on Twitch and I started like scrolling through the list and stuff to see what's interested me. It was Minecraft at first, and I joined this community and I was playing with them, and like low key, this is like a guilty thought, but like I kind of like fed off, like I was feeding off these people and like their views. Like
Yeah.
they would,
Oh my
they
god.
would, they would go like they would stream because they were pretty like hefty, like average maybe 20-25, and then they would start hosting me or like rating me. So like it was just the community just passing around the viewers around all the way. And that's how I got affiliate at first. So it's just me just involving myself in different communities and just trying to, take what's theirs and try to make it mine in a way, which is really greedy in a way. But
Yeah.
from there, I started streaming like art because they started doing it, and I started like talking to my friends less because they didn't provide me any type of content aside from like out of pocket jokes.
Yeah. Content
but
exploitation.
Oh my
then
god.
but then I took a break from all that. I ended up just hanging out with my friends some more. Then I saw D on TikTok, and I'm like, you know what? This might be it. Like,
I'm gonna become a streamer again.
you know what? I'm gonna feed off this girl again. No, it's funny though. See, like when she first started streaming, um, her first no, it wasn't her first host. It was her second. Your second host was to me or something.
My
I don't know.
raid?
It's
I raided
yeah, your
you?
raid. Yeah, first or second raid was to me. I think your first raid was to someone random, but the second one was to me. And I remember in my head, this is gonna be fucked up, but in my head, I would purposely like start streaming before you got off, so that you're.
No way.
I would purposely start streaming before you decided to end your stream. Like I would watch your streams, and like I would hear you like slowly trying to end off, and I would start streaming.
This is bullshit.
And
It
you
was
would
all a
rate me because
setup.
it was like consistent, and then our community started like getting a lot bigger, and like a lot of the friends that we have now and the friends that we used to have would start streaming more, so we ended up like benefiting off each other.
Oh, is that why you used to stream so late? Because pretty much you stream after her.
Yeah.
This man.
I didn't want to stream for like 1 or 2 hours. So
I
I
can't
was
believe this is the first
listen,
I'm
listen,
hearing this.
listen. So she would get
No.
off around like 9-10 o'clock, right? And I would stream like maybe 8:30 ish or like 8 o'clock, and I would stream literally until like 1 o'clock in the morning
Bro,
because
these
it's like,
men.
yeah,
I remember
I'm a
the
leech.
first week I joined. I remember right before his birthday time, his birthday. I remember once he streamed for like 8 hours straight. I'm like, damn, this
No,
man has
he
to take his
streamed for
shit
like
All right,
two
serious.
okay.
days,
All
Gio.
right, yeah. So
No,
It
listen.
was
no,
like
before
40
that, no, before
hours.
that,
Oh.
he streamed for 8 hours too, and then he did a 48 hour shit. That
Yeah,
shit was crazy.
so basically, right? That was during COVID when I decided to pick up streaming again. It was mainly because of D, because I wanted to like do something with it. So
Just laugh it off of her,
opportunity,
bro.
I saw it right
This
there.
is bullshit.
And obviously, what Gio said, like we're in it for the money. And I was also bored. I got laid off of work because our work got closed and stuff because of COVID. So I didn't have anything to do. I was collecting unemployment, so I was just sitting at home. Like this is the perfect time to start streaming and try to make something out of it. So I did, and um, my one I was my one friend. This was during my 24-hour stream, I think. He literally says every sub that I get is an extra like hour, and that's when like I got
Hit the
so
fun.
many like followers and subs is because of that kid. Like my friend Josh, he was just like, yeah, like he said, I didn't say it, and then I was like, you know what, fine, I agree. So I told him. Then like literally, I'm just playing, and all you hear is just like all these notifications that I set up. I'm like, oh my god, like what's going on? And it's just these people. I ended up streaming for like well, I had to stream for like 48 hours total, but I couldn't do the full 48 because I'm like falling asleep playing Genshin Impact, falling off the cliff.
At
So
like
I was
5 a.m.
like 5 o'clock in the morning, but yeah. But I don't even remember what the question was. What was the question?
It was
What
what?
got me into consecration? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, it all started from like the YouTube video, and that's how the reason
Yeah.
why I started streaming. So
Oh
yeah.
my god.
I
Thank
would love to
you.
do it some more, but yeah, I
Everything,
ended
Yeah.
up joining
everything is
this because
popping
I thought
out.
it was like a really like an asshole move, which it is. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. It was an asshole move.
I mean, if you read my intro, or if you read my intro on this on the like the mod thing, it feels like I'm just using you for content. I literally say that on the stuff intro.
I mean, that's the reason why D and I kept rating you is because it's like we're just gonna funnel to Geo.
Yeah.
I'm like, however, I'll play mostly anything if asked, just for
That
content.
is
Yes, I'm just
true.
using you for content. Like, I
It
literally say
is
that.
true. He will play literally anything.
I'll just for content, so I'll juice you.
But yeah,
So hit
so
my
like
line.
you and I are in the same boat of like trying to take advantage of people.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said D. I was like,
No, Geo.
hold up.
But yeah,
No, D was the one that was thinking a bunch of.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my consecration story.
Nice.
I'm glad it came out eventually.
T was
I'm
he's
glad
like,
now I know.
I will remember this.
I'm
For
gonna
me,
hold crushes.
for me, it was similar. I feel like for a lot of people our age, it was YouTube. Like everybody wanted to be a YouTuber when we were like in middle school, like when YouTube was like super popular back then. I feel like everybody wanted to be a YouTuber and everyone
Bro,
recorded little videos.
I will see the YouTube rewind. I was like, I want to be there next year.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now they suck, but there
Yeah.
was like a prime time, and I feel like that's how a lot of
Mhm.
people our age like really got started with this. But then it fell off, and then Twitch got like super
Yeah,
popular,
yeah.
and like it was just kind of like a funnel. But for me, I also was like did YouTube first. Like these videos will never see the light of day ever again. But like I used to make like makeup YouTube videos, like
Oh,
back in like end of high school, beginning of college. I made a lot of like beauty YouTube videos, like reviews, like tutorials, stuff like that. Because at the time, like I was like wanting to drop out of college and go to cosmetology school. Like that's what I like thought I was doing, but I was like 17 and like had no idea what to do. So then I started YouTube and I had done that for like a little bit, and then I just got too embarrassed and shy about it, and I realized that like me not being willing to tell anybody about it meant that I wasn't going to go anywhere with it, so I just kind of stopped. And then right before COVID, not quite. It was like right before like Twitch started getting popular. For like people who weren't really into gaming, so like for me, and I started watching it and I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool to do," but I obviously didn't have a computer or anything, so I just was like, it's just something that maybe I'll do in the future one day, but I was also really shy and like never really imagined myself doing something like that. Then I got a PC and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try. Maybe it'll make me a more social person or make me, uh, come out of my shell a little bit, which it did a lot. I feel like even like for like you guys have known me since basically since I started streaming. I feel like I have definitely come out of my shell a lot since I first started streaming and since I first met all of you because like this was all really brand new to me. So it did. It did what I thought it would do. Obviously now I don't stream as much. I was like getting really serious about it again and like cuz TikTok has obviously helped me a lot. TikTok is like a lot of where I post at this point, like outside of Twitch. Like TikTok is probably where like obviously I get my most traction. Um and that's where like I post the tutorials and things like that, which are things that I really enjoy making and I need to start like getting back into again because honestly, I like that more than streaming sometimes. Streaming can be stressful because I don't know, I don't like having to be like on for that many hours, you know, like paying attention, like interacting with people, like that is like hard for me. So TikTok has like really helped me, I think, with like posting content, but like not having to like be live streaming, you know, and like learning how to like bring the other places. So that's why I'm excited about this too, because this is just like another opportunity to like make content that's not gaming or like not me sitting here like having to like pay attention to multiple things at once, which gets stressful. So I think this is going to be like another cool part of like content creation that I'm going to enjoy a lot more than streaming specifically. Because I like streaming, don't get me wrong, but I want to like kind of steer away from that and make other types of content again because I feel like that is more my style.
Yeah,
Um,
content. Woo.
yeah. Anyways,
I
let's
feel like, sorry, just to add to that, I
go
feel like
ahead.
that's where like a lot of content creation is going in general. Is like diversifying, like
Yeah.
having like just like the multiple things, like either having like a uh, gaming content or like a podcast or like IRL stuff. I feel like that's where it's going. I think that that's the smart thing because that way you're like always like having like a different routine every day because if you're doing like the same thing over and over again it'll become repetitive and you'll like eventually get tired of it. But if you're
Yeah.
like, oh, one day podcast, one day streaming, one day in your case TikTok,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like a new twist to content creation. And before we move on to the next topic, a quick edit on what I said. So my first video, I thought it was 5 years. No, I was completely wrong. My first video I uploaded on my quote unquote vlog channel 11 years ago.
God
11
damn.
years ago?
Yeah,
Oh wait.
and
Let's go,
my
Tuna.
and then my first gaming video was 8 years ago.
God damn.
Yeah,
I can also say that because he also just reminded me. My first gaming video was in freshman year. My
freshman.
first video that I've posted on the internet for everyone to see was me dancing
Nice.
Of
to
course it was.
to Yags 3 or times 3 I guess from Usher.
Of course it
Yeah.
was. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay,
No copyright intended.
let's keep it going. Okay, so this is a more like real topic a little bit. Maybe. Depends on how you want to answer the question.
It better be real.
Um but I guess like my next question is what in your opinion or in your experience has been the hardest part of being a small content creator or like where do you feel like you struggle the most when it comes to content creation?
Public retention. I feel like that's like the most like main problem. I don't say problem, but like the main point of focus for like a small content creation, trying to retain the public, the viewers.
Yeah.
Because I'm for sure not like all the small content creators. They have moments or like from the beginning to one point where the viewers were literally one, and that one was you on your second monitor or like on the background, something like that. So I feel like that's like the most common problem for all the small content creators. And also, uh, I guess I want to say discipline because sometimes you say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this every day," blah blah yada yada, but then next day you're like, "I don't feel like doing it. I'll do it tomorrow." Tomorrow you still saying, "I'll do it tomorrow, tomorrow," and then you just keep pushing that day of doing that. So that's like you're not consistent with that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cheers to that, man.
I can also agree with that. Like keeping your viewers, like trying to keep yourself like above water, you know. But it also goes hand in hand with like for me personally, it goes hand in hand with my personality and stuff because I'm very like monotone and mellow. You can tell from me talking right now. Like there are times where I'll get like uppity and happy, but as soon as like it drags on for hours on end, like there are days where I would be streaming for maybe like 6 8 hours, and I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? But you could tell from like the quality of like myself just diminishes as time goes on while I'm streaming. Like I get more quieter and like more chill and like quiet, or more chill and more monotone in the way I speak. Even though I speak like this like normally, but there's no, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like variation of tone, I guess.
I guess
I don't know what the word is.
if anything, I guess it just goes hand in hand with like just having like the energy for like that time, like doing that for like a big time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes hand in hand. Like trying to keep, like there are times where I would get lucky, and I got rated for one time for like, I don't know, 160 something viewers, and that 167 ended up being like dropping so fast because like me personally, I don't think I'm very like entertaining. I'm not an entertainer. I just want people to like enjoy. I wanted to do like faceless streams to begin with because I'm not really comfortable with just being on camera. But um, what was I gonna say? Like I just want people to enjoy like how I play my games, like how elaborate I get when I play any of the games that I play. Like I'm always just looking up stuff to make sure, like like try to get the most out of the game and inform people on like the best way to do things or how to do things or like the most efficient way possible, like stuff like that. I like to
You
get
cater to a
technical.
very specific audience.
Yeah, I do. Like, and I think that just reflects on like how I am, because I myself also like watching streams where it breaks down everything.
You
So I
cater to
guess
yourself, like your
yeah,
type
yeah,
of
yeah.
person
I
that
mean,
you
you
are.
should. Yeah, I mean, you should really, because like if you don't like the way you're streaming, like if you're trying to force yourself in a certain way, and it's not the way that like you are like built like personality wise, then it's gonna conflict eventually. So that's my big issue is like my personality is like sometimes forced and mostly you know very bland. So it's hard for me to retain and like keep people. I have to, like what you said, like I cater to a certain type of audience. Yeah.
Introverts. That's what they
Well,
called.
see, like I'm not introverted. Like I'm
I
like
know you're, yeah, but like your vibes.
yeah, like I'm very like closed in. Like I'm extrovertedly introverted. I don't know if that's a word or even like what it is. But, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah.
like I can speak up for myself and like have fun and be very uppity when I choose to, or like when I have the energy to. But like usually I'm closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my issue. It's just like re- retaining viewers and like
Returning years.
making them like come back to
Like
the
you.
stream and enjoy and like me and like understand. But it's just hard to portray my message on like how my streams are when like all these people are coming in and out because it's like they're looking for something, or it's like a specific there people look for like a specific thing when it comes to streamers, like oh, like eye catching. I'm not very eye catching as my issue.
The thing, some people used to like big time streamer where they're like always talking, making jokes, like
Yeah, like
putting
I'm
like
not
a
gonna
whole
sit.
different
Yeah, exactly.
persona.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "What's up, guy?" Like, no.
What's up, big guys? Welcome back to my YouTube
I'm gonna
channel.
be
And
like,
today,
guys, this is how you like not lose, and then show them how you not lose.
Yeah, they would like people like would stand up and be like, "Boys, it's time for," and I was like,
See,
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
Ludwig's always just like, boys. I'm just like Ludwig.
It's like, how do you have so much energy, dude? Some of us can just barely get out of bed. Holy crap!
I
Good
have barely
morning to
woke
you
up.
too,
It's too early
Ludwig.
for this.
But for them, this is their full-time job, so
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
to me,
it's a
that's
little
true. It's a
different.
full-time job, so
Well, like
they
the thing
can
is,
afford
like,
it.
so I was watching a video on like Ludwig talking about this similar topic, and he was basically saying that like he liked entertaining people, like that was his thing. So that's just how it is. Like some people like look for things in that like that. Like they'll look for entertainers, something to keep them entertained. And I
I,
just personally,
You're more so like, I'm here for my game. Like, I'm here to stream my
yeah,
game and
like
show you my game and my gameplay.
mhm.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
Which
having
is
I'm
what,
here
Watch it.
I'm
like,
here to show you my skills.
which
So
is like still a huge audience. It's just that like that wasn't popularized on
You
Twitch in the
cutting,
most recent
yeah,
years.
yeah.
quarantine as a
What
mix.
about you, Tuna?
I would say it's pretty similar to an extent. Like, I feel like for me, the biggest issue is honestly like organization, and then that's like more like organizing my time to put like time for like streaming or time for like content creation. Obviously, since I'm working full time, it sometimes just like, especially because like at least for my work, I don't have like really consistent schedule of like I'm off the certain days or and basically that sometimes just ruins my whole like consistency in like either streaming or uploading for that matter. Sometimes I'm like, I'll be home at this time. I'll probably not have energy, so I'd rather not do it. Or like, and honestly, that's also another important thing, like energy, like having like the energy sometimes to do it is not there. And I feel like like how Justin was mentioning, like putting up like a persona, like being like going like high, doing a little more extra just to get that retention, it doesn't come naturally to me either. So I'm like, I'll be myself. I'll have fun playing my game or whatever. It's more like a vibe mindset, vibing while playing a game. And I don't know. I feel like if anything, that's like just like it. Obviously, when it comes to like doing stuff like maybe in this setting where like it's like a bunch of people, making something. I feel like that sometimes changes like your energy. If it's like just me doing everything by myself, like just like a solo gameplay or like just like me playing games by myself, I feel like that's definitely more the ambiance of like me just like what, I'm just chill, I'm having fun. When you're more in a social setting, like in this case, us doing the podcast right now, or like if we're doing like a big game, like a Valorant costumes or like whatever it might be that's like involves more people, I feel like the energy definitely changes then. And I feel like if anything, it's sometimes having to kind of like use that level of energy or like just like social mindset to kind of like push that out in your solo content. But then
Yeah.
in the end, it's like, I don't know. I also feel like you kind of need to enjoy, like Justin was saying, you need to enjoy the stuff you're putting out there. I feel like with the meta now of it being like you got to play these games in order to make it to the trending page in Twitch or or make it trending on TikTok or whatever it might be. People want to play certain games in order to obviously fit the algorithm. And if you enjoy playing those games as well, then that's perfectly fine. It's just a lot of times there's like a whole pressure of like, oh, let me play this game because that's the game like that everyone's playing right now. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that was, I mean, to an extent, yeah, Valorant or Overwatch when it comes to the shooters, but I feel like also people like, for example, when Among Us was out, right? That was like the game everyone was playing, and sure, it was because you're playing with your friends, you're all in quarantine, we're stuck. That was a great game to play together. But I feel like a lot of times there was a whole pressure for like, oh, if you were like a upcoming streamer,
Yeah, it was also getting views
yeah, it was like
for
it was getting
everybody.
views, and maybe that was not your kind of game. Like maybe you didn't like the whole interrogating or like you putting pointing at people as like, hey, you did this, you did this. Like I feel like a lot of times like it might go against what someone's personality would be, and so it's also like finding that like balance of like your personal like energy input versus like what you enjoy doing. Yeah. So that's like the main. Thank you, Gio. uh, I feel like that's the main issue. Is like just finding like the right amount of energy and time for things.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you all said, obviously. I feel like I feel like any small content creator in general would probably have similar struggles, just, time. Like, we don't, this isn't what we do. This is a hobby for us more so than like a job, which can be hard because it's a job that we would like. I mean, it's a hobby that we would like to have as a job, but is very hard when you already have a full-time job. You really have to be dedicated, and I think that's where I struggle a lot, is just with general dedication to it. Um, and the motivation slightly. It's also just like I psych myself out way too often, and I think I I definitely look at my analytics way too much, and I think that hurts me, and I think that a lot of small content creators probably have that same issue, where you tend to like really overanalyze how you're doing when it's very natural to fluctuate and that's like a totally normal thing, and that's okay to like go from 10 average viewers to 3 to 5 to back to 2. Like, that's totally normal, but it's definitely a hard pill to swallow sometimes. So I definitely psych myself out a lot, and I wish that I was a little bit more dedicated to it. Both Twitch, YouTube, all of it. Like, I say that I'm gonna do it, and then I don't. I back out. I say, oh, I'm not interesting enough. Nobody's gonna want to watch this. Blah blah blah. But it's definitely a mental thing. Definitely a big mental block, I think, for me sometimes. But um, I think that's why it's also really good to have a lot like your friends who also do a similar thing, because we're
So
all
you're
like
not alone.
yeah, clearly we're all struggling with the same thing. And it just takes like us looking out for each other too, but like obviously it's hard when we all have like work and jobs and things, and like it is nice
Adulting.
though. Yeah, but it is nice though to have your friends that like I really want to stream, but like I'm feeling so demotivated. Maybe this person will just want to play a game with me, and like when we can just stream together. And even though it doesn't happen as often anymore, it definitely has helped in the past a lot to have other
In a
people around
minute.
you who have that same like passion and hobby, to help push you a little bit. But yeah, I guess we kind of like did a little bit, but just to kind of like wrap up our like wonderful conversation that we had today. Um, I just would love to hear each of your biggest piece of advice to somebody who wants to start streaming or wants to start creating, whatever that looks like for them. What is your biggest advice that you've learned that you would give to somebody who wants to start?
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do
no.
it! What do you mean?
Don't do it.
I'm
So
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I would say like don't worry about your numbers, just have fun. Like that I think that's just a lot of things that we're missing. We're too focused on like success. Like um you just have fun. Like it'll come to you eventually. Just as long as you're having fun, just doing what you're doing. Like if it's whether it's like a IRL stream or it's a gaming stream, just have fun with your game, have fun with your the thing that you're doing for your IRL, like for example, like cooking or something. Have fun cooking, have fun gaming, and it'll all kind of just like work itself out. And also consistency. Consistency is the most important thing, and when it comes to like wanting to stream. So that's my advice. And don't psych yourself. Like if you feel like you're not made for this, like how I am, like I feel like I'm not made for it because of my personality. That's just not the case. Because there are people that kind of like go hand in hand with you and like can relate with you and get along like really well with you. So there will be people that will come by eventually and just be like, oh, they're just like me or something like that. But yeah, that's my advice.
I would say, don't do it. I'm kidding. I would say, don't compare yourself to the big ones. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm gonna start doing this because I wanna be like Ludwig, I wanna like Toast, I wanna be like Pokemon, I wanna be like this big name content creators, and you're like, after let's say a week, and you see your average viewer are 0.1, and you're like, oh, I don't wanna do this anymore. So, but then you never know. Maybe in a month or 2 months, you'll hit the fan and explode. So don't compare yourself to the big ones. Everything takes time. Even for them, at one point, take time because they it's like fucking download OBS or whatever. I started streaming and got like 100,000 viewers in one day. For them, also they took time. Of course, they have a little bit of luck. You gotta have a little bit of luck to like hit the right spot and get big. But still, don't compare yourself to the others, and also just be you. Don't try to be someone else or try to imitate someone's personality just so you can think that you're retaining people. Because eventually people will say, "Oh, you're fake," or "You're just copying this," or "You're like this wannabe," blah blah blah, stuff like that. So don't compare yourself. Be yourself. And I feel like the main thing that mostly all of you will say, also Justin just said it, be consistent with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tuna?
Amen.
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 Cheers to that. um, let's see. For me, it would probably be like, don't be afraid to voice your, like, if you have a new, like if you have an idea of something you want to do content creation wise. Like, for example, I feel like, if anything, us doing this podcast is amazing because I feel like it's like a different side of like content creation is, right? Like a different project essentially. Same concept. Don't be afraid of trying new things out. And like, put ideas out there in terms of like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And make it your own spin. Like, yeah, be unique in terms of like who you are as a personality. Don't try to compare yourself to others, like Gio said, but also like be yourself in the sense of like, what can you bring differently that will make your content uh, unique to you, and that people would want to watch you in a sense. Whether it be the what you're talking about, whether it be whichever game you're playing, like it could be anything honestly. But try to always. I feel like what a really important advice would be like, try to think of something that would make whichever game you're uploading, whichever game you're streaming, that like it's like, oh, this is your ID, this is your content essentially.
Find your niche, basically.
There you go. Yeah. Um. Other than that, yeah, consistency is key. Um. I'm working on it. Trust me, I feel I'm not consistent at all. But I feel like having consistency is good, and just enjoy what you do. Honestly, just enjoy what you do. Play. Find your comfort zone. And also don't be like, have your comfort zone for stuff that you know that like, oh, I can go back to this and focus on this. But also don't be afraid to maybe also go out of the comfort zone when it comes to like trying out new games, because you never know if you're going to enjoy like a game out there that you wouldn't think, oh, this might not be my thing, and then you try, it's like, oh wow, it worked out. Like, for example, I don't usually enjoy playing shooter games. Or like, I don't like, I didn't think a game like Valorant would be something that I would enjoy. I tried it and I was like, yeah, this is a game I'll definitely play with my friends in the future. So now I have a game that I can play with my friends in the future. Um, if they're like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, if I'm available, I'll join. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll definitely do it, because it's like I gave myself the opportunity of trying new things out, and I feel like that can also beneficiate you in the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be a
Um,
pussy.
okay. Um, I would obviously agree with everything that you all said, so I'm not gonna like repeat anything. But the only thing that I would add is don't be afraid to cross platform. I think it's extremely important as a small content creator to cross platform. A majority of my success, actually all of my Twitch success, whatever you would consider for me success, so far has been because of TikTok. So I think that it's super important to post cross platform, which is why like I really want to, start getting back into YouTube. And then, YouTube, you can find a different audience to pull to different areas, and I think that that's super important. Especially right now, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok is huge for growth. And I think it's really important to take advantage of how other social medias can grow your platforms, your YouTube, your Twitch, whatever that looks like for you specifically. I think it's really important to just like try out other social medias and see where you can find success, because obviously different content does better in different places. But not being afraid to like just try it. Like I posted a video on YouTube Shorts, like it got a lot of views. It also got a ton of really mean comments, and I like was like, okay, well maybe YouTube Shorts is not where I want to post content, but like I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't posted at least one video. So you just never really know until you do it. And obviously sometimes it takes a few to find those ones that do well, and that's okay. And that's where the consistency comes in. That can come in with any platform, not just with your Twitch or your YouTube. Um, I noticed that like I get a lot more views on TikTok when I post every single day rather than like once and then not posting again for 2 weeks. Like those videos obviously don't do as well. So I think the consistency could probably play into like all different platforms. And also like if you know that you don't have a niche, I think that's okay. For me, I would say like I would prefer to not put myself in a box as a content creator. Like I don't want to be like a gamer or like something specific, because I know myself and like I'm not going to be interested in gaming forever, but I would still be like interested in content creation. And so I think that we were kind of talking about that earlier of like making your IRL content, making your this whatever you want to do. If you know that you don't have a niche, I think that's super important to try to mix up your content, I guess, in a way, so that you don't put yourself in a box, which is what I'm going to start trying to work on a little bit more. Because I know that I'm not going to want to be like a gaming creator forever. Like I was just saying how like I used to make like beauty content videos and stuff like that. And so I know that I have different types of interests, and I would prefer to like for me, my content to just be me. Like whatever that is for me right now, like I'm interested in gaming, so I'm gonna game. And like on TikTok, I like to make streaming related videos. And I would eventually like to post more like fashion videos, or like I've had hair videos do really well. And I think that's okay too to not have a niche if you don't want one, and to just like make yourself the niche, I guess. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun. Um, these three people have supported like literally everything, any idea that like I have had over the past almost 2 years at this point. And I have been talking about a podcast for a very long time with you three specifically.
DS, DS,
So
DS.
this is really exciting, and I'm really glad that like you guys could be here to finally bring it to life once I edit this and post it, and then other people can actually listen to it. But I'm glad that you all could be here to start us off with this first episode. And I am very excited for next time, which might be live. We don't know yet. I haven't decided, but eventually we're going to want to stream the podcast, probably. But for now, we're just recording it. But maybe next time it'll be live. We don't know. But in the meantime, we do have an Instagram. It's at Spill the Coffee Pod. I'll put it somewhere. I don't know. And I'll put all of their information somewhere as well. It'll be popping around. I love the modeling that's happening right now. This is perfect. But yeah, thanks so much again, guys. And if anybody watched our first episode, thanks for watching it. And I hope that you liked it and liked us. And maybe we'll see you on our stream if we stream. Maybe we
Make
should.
sure to subscribe, hit the notification button. Remember that leave a comment, like, share everywhere.
Do all of
Leave
the
a comment,
things.
like, subscribe, and leave a comment and subscribe and like videos. So
Yes.
algorithm.
And share with everyone, your
Thank
family,
you.
your mom, your dad, your dog, your sister, your cat, your guinea
Your
pig,
imaginary pet rock. All of
Exactly.
them. They all need the link.
Share it to the rock too.
All right. We will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye bye.